The world of anime has evolved in ways that I don't think many of us could have imagined years ago. Anime as a medium has been making leaps and bounds time and time again, still pushing to get the credit it deserves, and with all the years that have gone by, there has been so much growth across the board. The abundance is there, the amount of discussions are plentiful, the coverage is massive, and if we're not there yet, then we are at the cusp of anime being something that could truly be considered mainstream. All of this has been possible because of the anime community and how we as fans continue to rave about our favorite medium. It doesn't matter how or when we got here, between purchasing, streaming, video making, tweeting, nominating, now more than ever, the voice of anime fans has gotten people's attention, and I find myself meeting more fans casually out in the world. It's because of such evolution that I wanted to take a moment and reflect on how far the community has come, both in conversation and content creation. Granted, of course, I can't cover all the bases of everyone's own individual experiences, but I can tell my own, and hopefully some of you share some opinions and upbringing. I think for majority of us, we came into this medium off of three primary eras, being the classics of the 80s and 90s from Yu Yu Hakusho and Sailor Moon, the era of the big three, or the era where anime really began to sprint from Gurren Lagann and SAO to Attack on Titan, and the rest is history. Growing up, there was always that joke of having to watch low quality episodes on YouTube, but that was true to an extent. A convenient means of watching anime wasn't always common, which obviously led to a whole lot of pirating. Once Crunchyroll came out in 2006, the competition among platforms began to take shape. Anime fans who didn't really know where to look finally had a service that would bring these series to them, and it wasn't too much long after that Netflix, Funimation, Hulu, and Amazon would join the fray. Toonami being the cherry on top that had us ruining our sleep schedules to watch that next episode, which still goes on till this day. Alongside Funimation ushering in the love for English dubs, with series like Dragon Ball leaving an irreplaceable mark on anime history. One by one, I kept on consuming, and soon enough, I was knee-deep in this medium. My first series was Naruto, and soon after, it was SAO, Kill la Kill, Attack on Titan, and so much more in between all the years. I'll never forget watching K-Project on Hulu in the fall of 2012, or binging Assassination Classroom, and even catching all the way up to World Trigger on Crunchyroll during weekly release. These days, you really can't take for granted being able to wake up and have the new subtitled episode ready for you by the time you make breakfast. You can't say now that it's difficult to find a platform to view the anime the world is talking about. Anime has become readily available, and movies as well have benefited from this. Anime movies have been coming to the US since 1961, but surely the overseas viewings of them have dived into a massive global market. Now we have viewings from the UK to India, with major film accounts covering the news that almost make you feel as if it were an event, which given the rarity and time frame you have to watch it, it kinda is. Demon Slayer putting up one of the biggest numbers during the height of COVID, still holding the crown for the biggest opening weekend for an anime movie in the United States till this day. MHA and JJK trailing right behind it, but these days we're getting all sorts of movies across all types of genres and demographics. Originals, shonen, fantasy, romance, there's a reason for all sorts of fans to gather their friends and swing by a theater, with this year being another round on the horizon looking at Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer. Granted, I'll never be fully okay with canon movie adaptations, but it is a good reason to go, and I have fun every time. The seasonal structure itself has also been rampantly increasing because of such demand. With so much to watch, naturally, the anime community has a lot to discuss, which, let's be honest, can be a very hit or miss daily thing. Don't get me wrong, this will always be a place where you'll get crucified for your calm opinion, but there have been some enjoyable days of discussion to come over time. With everyone tuned into social media, it's hard to miss anything from the big episodes to major events that even we overseas fans get to view. From the Attack on Titan betrayal to the hype of Deku vs Todoroki, the kickoff of The Promised Neverland, Demon Slayer's Hinokami Kagura, One Piece 1015, anime episodes becoming the #1 trend on social media has become a common occurrence. We get to interact among ourselves, share our thanks with animators and directors, and still look forward to the next big thing from events like Anime Japan to Jump Festa. Even manga chapters now have a part in this, with a combo of leaks to the official release causing immense discussion on social media, especially if it gets to meme level. To nobody's surprise, sales continue to be a metric of discussion as well, giving fans speculative room to not only discuss whether or not a series will survive, but also giving room to talk about which series truly have established themselves. More and more information has become publicly publicly available, and from people like Josuke on Twitter to websites like Sakuga Blog and the Boru, the anime community has many tools to not only learn about the people who make the process work, but about the very process itself. This of course leading many to create a platform to discuss all types of things within the content creation world for anime. From watching AMVs with a Linkin Park soundtrack behind it, to looking for a reviewer that is watching the same thing you are so you know you aren't alone, there are deep corners to explore in the anime content creation space. My start honestly began with people like Forever World for news coverage, Glass Reflection for a variety of anime, and Giguk for well obvious reasons. MHA and World Trigger play a major part in my life, but his video titled The Greatest Thing Anime Has Done was such a personal letter of appreciation for this medium that I found myself thinking that I want to convey myself like that someday. Granted, it took me a little while longer than I wanted to in terms of getting started, but I'm still here, still inspired years later by so many different creators still passionate about this medium. One thing I've learned about content creation in general when it comes to this medium is that you are always going to piss somebody off even if it's not intentional. But it's not all bad, and you can genuinely come to have incredible experiences with other peers. I've gamed and spoken with people that I never thought I would have, and at the end of the day, no matter the platform size, we're all just people. Fast forward a decade and some change later, and a lot of these creators are not only still here, but I've come to discover so many people with various styles of presentation that truly keep me motivated. People like Mother's Basement still covering a variety within the seasonal structure and keeping his What's in a OP series still fresh with each new banger opening. Totally Not Mark providing some of the most gargantuan sized reviews that we don't get to see from many creators these days cover at large. Scamboli reviews, Masked Man, Sufferance, talking about all sorts of series no matter the time period, hype, or demographic. The homie Damien keeping it real and just telling it how it is as the months go by, and the list goes on and on. So many different approaches towards presentations accompanied by different perspectives, and it's exactly why we as an audience set out to see who we resonate the most with. I know there are many creators that I might not mention in this video, but whether I do or not, it doesn't take away from the impact many of them have had on people's experiences with this medium. It's also worth seeing different creators come together and collaborate on something bigger as connections are formed. Trash Taste, for example, being a podcast comprised with Giguk, Sea-Dog, and the Anime Man, still giving their nod towards anime, but has their episodes where it's more than that. Another example being something I've seen from the One Piece community regarding their own reverie. Seeing a combo of creators from Roger's Base to JD Legend come together and talk about the recent happenings of the story is such a good idea, and it's something I think creators could learn from. To see so many creators come together and passionately discuss a story that connects them, that right there is what it's all about. Plus, it creates a sensible atmosphere for people to discuss in. There's a lot of people who still unfortunately aren't well adjusted and will hit you with the low tier god special for having a different opinion. From fandoms to certain cultivated spaces, the anime community has continuously created pockets that people can integrate into to let out said opinions, sometimes leading to lifelong friends and memorable experiences, and other times a bit of chaos because, let's be honest, every fandom has that one incident. To add on, anime content creation isn't limited to talking about something in depth or to emotional lengths. Creation is not bound by one shape or form, and anybody can incorporate anime into their style. Afro Senju incorporating Naruto into their roots, RDC and Caleb City incorporating anime into some of their most entertaining skits, all sorts of musicians using their skills to analyze anime music, Ninjaristic Ninja creating some of the most insane anime MMVs. There are so many bases to cover, and honestly shows anime content creation is far from dead, even if it may not be at a height people are familiar with. Creators have every right to try out all sorts of directions for their content, and if one finds themselves moving away from consistent anime coverage, it just simply opens up a door for someone new to step through it. If anything, I think the community have come to appreciate the variety of content looking at how much anime comes out every year. Make no mistake, shonen is still the dominating demographic, but it cannot carry the industry on its back, and I'd argue that even now it still doesn't. There's always going to be your one-stop shop creators who may solely cover things like JJK or Kagurabachi because there's an audience for that, hence the idea of a pocket. Yet when you see stories like Sony Boy, Freeram, Bocchi the Rock, the 86, Vinland Saga, and the reception that they bring, it's clear that there is room for creators to branch out and room for new creators to introduce themselves to the world. As much much as I started out strong covering World Trigger, I knew that I wanted to be a creator who covered a variety of things. When I think about the type of creator I want people to know me as, I cannot imagine being simply known for one thing. Not when there is so much to talk about within such a vast medium with stories I have yet to uncover. If people do feel like anime content creation is a bit dry and formulaic, I can somewhat see it, but there are definitely a lot of people that stand out among the crop. It's why I have come to discover people like Lines in Motion who talk about a plethora of topics, from aspects of a series that stick out or define so much of a story's world to a healthy variety of analysis across multiple demographics and genres. Or people like Colleen's Mangarex, who does a whole lot for the conversation around shoujo, from up and coming to publication history and even interpreting key shoujo elements that a lot of us might not see within other demographics. There are also growing creators who outside myself have been making major strides. People like Be More Brass and Trenton's Art being two creators that come to mind. It's our dream to earn your support, yet it's equally important to not stay in the shadow of someone else and really make ourselves shine in our own ways. With all that being said, if there is one group of people who I feel have become the very heartbeat of the anime communities while always keeping things fresh, it's definitely reactors. Some of the first people I began watching was Married to the Real and Struck by Bells. Alongside them, these days, I'm keeping up with Jamie, The Normies, Blind Wave, Michelangelo, The React Pack, Reanimated, RTTV, Your Boy Roshi, you get the gist. All of these people represent us fans at home. Whether it's during one of the hypest episodes of the year, movies, and even different TV shows, or the saddest moments that destroy us, reactors, in my opinion, have grown into a nice spot within the anime community. It comes down to the simple fact that just like we want to find reviewers who think the same way we do, we also want to see if people feel the same way we do. Are there people just as hype as me in these moments, or am I crazy for crying over such a moment, or is there somebody else out there that feels just as hard? How do people receive such crazy action moments or well-directed episodes? It's these questions that we set out to find answers to. Being able to visually see people embody the same emotions we do at home resonates with us on so many levels. At the same time, reactors help the anime world continue to move forward, with reactions themselves being a passive type of promotion. It also helps when people are just naturally enjoyable to watch, Your Boy Roshi being one of the most amusing trios to watch all these years. And yet, you get a warm feeling knowing that you've grown up alongside some of these people as well. Many creators becoming married people and even parents, and for my generation, we're all adults now, but even so, we're still here. However, like every positive side, there is a negative when the coin is flipped regarding the anime community as a whole. There's a lot of hateful people, which can lead to some very eye-opening situations, which is going to point me in the direction of chibi reviews, as what I'm about to get into is recent and consistent enough that I cannot seem to escape it. Literally, people will not stop putting it on my feed. I swear that these days, every time I look up, he's in some random hot seat. One week it's the Boruto community, then the Chainsaw Man community, and don't even ask about the Dandadan stuff, and recently folks have been up in arms regarding Gachiakuta. Now, I'm gonna navigate this carefully because I'd rather not be burned at the stake Castlevania style, so let me just start with saying this. The anime community, like any social space, is its own force of nature. There are no leaders, and if you quickly get swept up in drama, you are going to be in for a shitty time based off my observation. However, the comments about the man's deceased brother, as well as trying to put illegal material on his account, is absolutely insane behavior. I really don't care to argue about the rage baiting or the goon posting, or I guess the incest double downing. You all handle that however the hell you like. But you have to be 20 times more sick in the head to try and put that sort of criminal material on somebody's account just to make a point. A lot of people would do a lot better if they could scroll past and simply ignore, but quite frankly, we've always been way past that point. Any anime content creator's words do not have power to them unless you give them power, and quite frankly, the anime community won't stop making a situation every other week. And once you entertain it once, you're gonna find yourself entertaining it all the time. In my opinion, I'd rather go put my phone down, go make a sandwich, and go watch Shangri-La Frontier rather than fight with somebody that I can't even get a hold of. With all that being said, the amount of ignorance and blatant racism to come from this corner has certainly reared its ugly head for practically months now. I've never heard of the term hood weeb until all of this drama unfolded between his corner and the different pockets of the anime community, and I don't think I need to elaborate upon what people are really trying to say. Lately, everyone is truly saying how they feel in a not so great way, from the idea of tourists to just how people view anime in general. Of course, this comes with the issue that bigotry would naturally be in the mix because, well, it's the anime community. It's incredible how people will get so angry online over people they will never meet or see in person, but I digress. I think the worst part about it is that at first some people tried to give hood weeb this definition of anime fans who strictly stick to notable shonen or do messed up stuff, but not only in the big 2025 are there anime fans of all types of backgrounds who enjoy all types of shonen, but whatever happened to just simply calling terrible people as they are and not slapping a very specific label on them? You may as well just say black anime fans, or just rip the band-aid off and double down with the hard R, because not a soul is that dense enough to not read between the lines. I'm just kidding, it's already in motion. By all means, if you think I'm exaggerating in the slightest, feel free to go type in hood weeb in the search bar on Twitter, you'll find plenty of it there. Even other creators are catching wind of it, and they aren't even remotely tuned into the nonsense. To make it even worse, people found the guy who made the term. Bait tweet or not, the fact that it's re-emerged in such a visceral way in this corner of the community means that it's always going to come back to chibi. I know what some of you all out there are probably thinking. There's no way for him to control what other people say, who joins what community, or the online conversation in general. And you know what? You are absolutely right. However, when you have a platform and an audience and clearly care for such thing, then you have to be aware of the air around you. If you let other people come into your space and stink up the vibes with ignorance, it's gonna affect you twice as hard because you created and allowed that space to exist. It does not take much to locate somebody who has been supporting chibi also going around and using racist terms. Again, let me clarify that the anime community isn't any better when it comes to cultivating a sensible space, but I feel like all creators should know better when trying to deal with a community of people that does not care. A lot of people will troll you, make up false narratives, hate on you for things that may not be true. It's wrong as hell, but dude, the reality of the situation is that this is how the internet moves these days, unfortunately. Plus, of all the creators out there, for you to particularly end up in the hot seat with these anime community pockets, there may be something you could consider reflecting on. Just a thought. This should never be about winning and proving the haters wrong. The biggest victory anybody could ever achieve is maintaining your peace. I don't even know what to expect from this lawsuit, because even if he were to nail the core individuals we've seen mentioned over many videos, he still has the rest of a large chunk of the anime community. Personal victories may provide temporary satisfaction, but it won't stop this storm. Yet, hypothetically speaking, of course, I can imagine that Chibi probably feels that even if he did try and rein in the racism from his community and settle into a chill corner, it still wouldn't do anything to ease up on the aggression. Which, yeah, would be true, because it's clear that he's gonna keep on doing what he does no matter how upset people get, and in turn, the malice will continue to grow. It's definitely not the best bridge to die on, but then again, you have the whole idea of just taking the beating from the anime community, and in what world would anybody just accept that? I'm just keeping it real, but with everything I've said, I can see how this has contributed to this endless cycle with realistically no ground to be gained. Everyone is going to feel how they want to feel, they're going to say what they want to say, but this whole instance has been an incredibly depressing thing to watch unfold under the idea of free speech and being based. It makes you wonder, how in the world did it get to this point if all we're doing is talking about fiction? There's an obvious answer, but I sure as hell am not getting into it today. I don't think a lot of people who are in Chibi's corner who go around spreading the hood weeb gospel realize that all it does is just add on to the pile the man is already slammed with. At the end of the day, it's not gonna reflect off the random account behind the anime profile picture. It's just gonna reflect on him who has a whole platform that puts him on the jumbotron. Just think about it. Constantly having to go back and forth with people online that you can barely hold accountable, only for your community to play defense, which incites more offense. Every person you quote is subjected to harassment, and at that point, is there really any form of real victory here? The anime community on its own is already enough. You can barely enjoy a show like Solo Leveling without some random person coming out of nowhere and telling you to watch your second anime while you've been watching stuff since you were a kid. I definitely think the anime community has become a lot more aggressive aggressive over the years, especially when everything is made out to be a competition. People love to weaponize things like author inspiration to invalidate competency, and don't even get me started on how bad sales talk can get. And if somebody sees someone else liking a show they hate, you may as well pack it up. They are about to send you to hell. This right here is why I personally keep my distance, and I understand why many large creators play their cards safely. This whole thing is one main reason why people outside the medium consider anime fans weird. Superstitions aside, people don't know how to act their age and prefer fighting battles with no victory. Having a community or partaking in one isn't an inherently bad thing, but it can quickly turn that way depending on the environment that is naturally cultivated and the people you attract. Not too long ago, there was this whole thing about lolicons and the series The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, and I swear to God, the reactions to this tweet was one of the most insane things I've seen so far this year. Do I think the original tweet is dumb? Yeah, I don't think I need to see the show to know that much. It's crazy because I haven't seen Haruhi yet, but I'm aware of its impact because of seeing it mentioned so many times over the years back when I was younger, and while I'm sure it's a great series, Jesus Christ, does it have some of the most terrible people repping it, shitposting history aside. So to wrap this up, I don't think anybody could ever say that the anime community is flat out good. The world of anime has gotten bigger, and there are a lot of things to be excited about year-round. There are still tons of passionate people ready to talk about both the series online or through videos, and it's never a dull day. I only see anime becoming more successful, and hopefully the industry doesn't crash and burn before we reach that pinnacle. That negative side, however, will always be intertwined deeply. People just don't know how to regulate their emotions, and most importantly, just walk away from a conversation and preserve what's actually important. Nobody can hurt you. The minute you put down your phone or close your browser, you've already won. I think it's important for people who do partake in this community to remind themselves of what they want to be known for and why this medium brings them joy in the first place. It's perfectly fine to be a casual watcher, or you can be somebody who takes the engagement a step further. Do you want to be a bot account who regurgitates tweets, or somebody that adds actual value to this community in some way? If you're a creator, what impact do you want to have on the community, and when all is said and done, what do you want to be known for? There is a lot of avenues to walk down, but the one thing no community can decide for you is how you navigate this medium, and no matter how big anime gets, everyone would do well to remember that. For if you let discourse, drama, and ignorance become attached to your name, knowing that wasn't how you started, then I can only hope you feel it was worth it in the end. Trust me when I say that people will always remember. As a personal comment for me, I hope people understand that there is not enough bigotry in the world that can be deployed throughout this community that will stop people from enjoying anime. People are going to watch and talk about what they want to, and it's nothing any of us can do about it. For the long-term fans, let go of that ego and show newcomers these stories you're into. You may just make a friend. Whatever the case may be, I'll keep doing what I do best and staying out the way. With that, ladies and gentlemen, will bring me to the end of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and make sure to leave all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be well out there until we meet again in the next video.